Hey guys, Cam15 back it up with another video for you guys. Back with another Blue Box episode review as we continue on with more Blue Box. And this episode was really good. It's a birthday episode for our girl Chinatsu. And we get in a moment where it's our boy Taiki and Chinatsu basically on a birthday date or a birthday hangout, but I guess you could say a birthday date. And yeah, they hash out some of the things that have been going on between the two. And it definitely looks like progress is being made there in the relationship. So there's that. But let's get into it. The episode starts off with obviously Shinatsu celebrating her birthday with her teammates and everything. They're at practice and they're just taking pictures and everything. So yeah, and then you just have it to where Taiki's like, I wish I could celebrate it with her. Kyo, his friend, is just like, he's like, you didn't even know what present you're gonna get her. He's like, I don't even know what to get her. All of a sudden, you have it to where Hina shows up, and then Hina's like, look, I'm just saying hi, didn't mean to come out here and talk to you. So whatever. So he ends up having a conversation with Hina, and realistically, it felt like he just basically rejected her because he tells her about the whole fact of like, hey, you do know that I still like Chinatsu and I'm still gunning for her. That's okay, right? I'm going full steam ahead. And obviously Hina's like, yeah, I knew you typically. I knew you would. He's like, you just better go all out for that case. And then she walks off. Now, Key overheard that conversation and he's like, yeah, I don't think she's okay with that. So I guess, look, I guess Taiki just straight up just rejected her. Like, if we're talking now, unless he officially just says, like, no, I really, really do like, I really do like Chinatsu, and I appreciate the feelings you have for me, but she's my number one, right? Regardless, it seems like this whole thing, he just rejected her. Now, I will say, which is quite shocking because I haven't hated this show or I haven't disliked this show or anything. I kind of didn't like how they handled this. Like, I would think, I kind of hoped that this would be like a bigger moment. And I hope, and maybe this is it, of the Hina and Taiki relationship. But to me, like, I feel like when you have these like rejection angles for these characters, you know, when it's usually the girl that doesn't get the guy, the main male character, it's usually a big build-up episode. And if, hey, that's it, and that was the rejection from Taiki to Hina, well, kind of a letdown. Maybe they just wanted to do it short and sweet because obviously, Hina is a very likable character, and I can see why fans really gravitate to her and probably maybe like her more than Shinatsu. But at the same time, too, it's like they do with the last few bit of episodes they got going on. They have to start giving episodes dedicated to Chinatsu so we can have a focus on Chinatsu and Taiki and see their relationship bond and grow. Because realistically, in the first half, we got bits, pieces, and moments, and little, tiny moments here and there, but we never officially got like, straight up like, boom, balls to the wall, like straight going all the way together. Like we've either been focusing on the Taiki Hina relationship or any other things, especially like the Harayu storyline, especially with his girlfriend a few weeks ago. So that's the thing. I will say I'm quite disappointed how quickly the rejection angle just took, especially the fact that they built up to the fact that Hina confessed her feelings to Taiki and everything. And they made it, especially from last week, they made it like a big idea, like, a very big idea, like Taiki's gonna make some major decision on who he wants to be with, like near like maybe the last second to last episode, right? And then also another nitpick I also have is they didn't address or they didn't have to where Chinatsu address Taiki about the whole thing with Hina And if he's gonna ask her like, does she like does he like Hina romantically or something like that? Like, especially with the cliffhanger from last week, I thought they would have touched upon that, and especially with where you see later on when she basically talks about when she tells Taiki like, look, I want you to actually do remember that moment we had when I accidentally fell on top of you, right? Um, excuse me, goodness, I got the hiccups now, but. Like, you get my point. Like, they didn't even address that whole thing. Like, she didn't bring that up. Like, hey, do you like Hina or something? Don't know why. Those are my probably only two nitpicks of the episode that I didn't like. I didn't like the whole, I guess, rejection angle. Because legitimately, if you're Taiki and you're telling Hina, this girl who already confessed her feelings to you about how the fact that she likes you, really, really likes you, right? And he just said in the nonchalant way, like, hey, like, I still like Chinatsu senpai, so you know, that's basically, and then they kind of held it in a way. It was like, oh, now I don't know. No, again, Kyo gave the whole like, I know deep down she's not okay with this. So is this going to be a thing where she has a conversation with Kyo, and Kyo's like, look, you really got to tell this dude like how much you truly like him, and then you got to ask him, give him an answer now. And maybe that's what he does. Maybe he goes up to Hina and he's like, no, you need to go up to him, have the confidence and tell, like, hey, listen, is it me or Chinatsu? I still have these feelings, but I don't want to, like, do it. I don't want to, like, obviously have this effect or something. Like, let me know, like, right here to the face, like, are you going to reciprocate my feelings back? Because Taiki did say is, he said that, look, he's still gunning for Chinatsu. He didn't basically say, like, hey, but I'm keeping my options open, just in case maybe that fails, and I definitely care about you a lot, right? So maybe they're going to set it up to where we do get that big thing where he's like, no, 100%, I'm going for Chinatsu, and if that's it, that's it. I just wanted to see you as a friend, or he hasn't told her yet. He hasn't told Hina like I understand you like me like that, but I just see you as my best friend. Like, he hasn't said that to her, so he really is. Stickly hasn't given her an answer, but he did. But it was kind of a little bit depressing that that's the rejection she was getting it, and the fact that even too she encouraged him on. I'm like, why would you encourage him on about that? You would just be like, if it was me, like, I would say like, so are you trying to tell me you don't like me, right? Like, whatever. But anyways, that's kind of the thing. So yeah, anyways, Shinadzu's in practice and she's practicing hard, but her coach is trying to get her to practice harder and everything. Because she basically got named to be the vice captain of the team. And it's mostly because all of her mostly the players from last year, who were the seniors, they've basically retired because they're going to be going off to college, essentially. Which is what I'm guessing is happening, right? And it's clear that you can tell that Shinatsu does not like this pressure, this added pressure to be a captain. And even her friend can see, like, on her face that she's basically putting up an act of, like, she knows, like, yeah, I know you don't want to do this, or you don't feel comfortable being a captain right now and everything, because you have all this load on you and you feel like you have all this pressure on you. And I can tell. And her friend did say, like, she does have a hard time, like, truly expressing how she feels. So that could be another thing. And so yeah, but she ends up walking home. Her mom gives her a call to see how she's doing and obviously wish her a happy birthday. And she has an honest conversation with her mom, and it's about the fact about being the vice captain of the team and how the fact that she feels like she has all this pressure, especially after the seniors all left, and she feels like she doesn't know if she's cut out to be a captain of the team, right? And she basically is implied like, maybe I shouldn't just do it. Maybe I should just not be a captain or anything, or maybe it was a mistake to be a captain, for the coach to choose me to be a captain, especially because I missed that shot in the nationals tournament. But I liked what her mom said and said like, hey, you know, give it a shot. Like, give it a few weeks, try it out to be the captain, and if you feel like you're not good enough to be a captain, that's when you can go up and you feel like it's not working and it feels like it's making you uncomfortable. Like just go up, then you can go up to your coach and tell him, "Hey, I respect being given the duties of being a captain, but for me, I feel like it's just way too much on me as a player, and I don't want to have, you know, that pressure on me, and it's making me feel uncomfortable." And honestly, you know, I've I've never been like a true captain of any sports team I played of. I was kind of like one of those captains where it's like follow by example type of captains, right? You know, and I think, you know, in the situations like, you know, being a captain of a team is a very high honor because you're basically a representative of that team and a member of that team, right? And honestly, you know, if you're somebody and you do feel like, hey, you know, this is a little bit too much for me, then hey, like, yeah, go up to your coach and say like, hey, I'm not comfortable being a fucking captain, right? So, that's the thing right then and there. Anyways, so there's that, but you know, her mom's like, all right, just give it a shot and you'll be fine. So she's like, okay, I'll try. So after she gets off the line, right? Um, she's obviously still a little bit sad, and she's like, she looks at Taiki and she texts Taiki, sends him the emoji, and Taiki's right behind her, and she hears it, and she turns around, and it's Taiki right there, and Taiki's like, whoa, I didn't mean, I'm not following you just to follow you or anything, or stalking you or anything. I just happened to be in the area, right? So basically, what happens? She's like, "Hey, can we go somewhere?" And because he sees like it's the type of emoji that he told her, like, "Hey, if you feel bothered or there's something that you need to talk about, you know, text me this emoji and I'll be right there, right?" So they decide to go on this train to the beach area, and they go to the beach so she can take her mind and relax a bit. And she goes to play in the ocean, and a little bit is kind of like that moment in the opening you see of her playing in the ocean water, splashing around. She then tells Taiki, she's like, "Hey, come on, come over here." And he's like, "Okay, hold on." So he rolls up his freaking pants and everything, and they go start to mess and play around in the water and everything. You have these two dudes who are like, oh man, what it is, how much it is to be young again, right? I wish I was young. I wish I was freaking 15, 17 years of age again. Right? Trust me, I'm 26 now, and I completely missed those points right then and there, right? As I'm looking at this freaking game, okay. As I'm looking at this game, yeah. So there's that and everything. But yeah, you have that moment happen, and you have the little bit of the bonding that they're having. Taiki sees that the ankle bracelet is not on Chinatsu anymore, and she's like, "Well, I told you that, you know, putting too much of these dreams and these goals would eventually make it break and everything." So that's it. And I was thinking as I'm watching the episode, I'm like, is he gonna get a point where he's gonna get another ankle bracelet for her and another promise like bracelet that they can make for a promise? No, as a birthday present, but no, that's not what happens. So what happens is she looks like she's about to fall over. He grabs her arm again, and it's a moment, it's kind of the moment to where it's like, oh, they're touching, they're feeling each other, right? Personally, if you ask me, I wish he would just had grabbed her hand instead of her arm, but regardless, he kept her upright. So he lets go and he's gonna walk some more. He was gonna walk away some more, but then she grabs his shirt and she's like, "Hey, um, can you assist me because I don't want to like fall into the water and get wet and everything, right?" So Taiki's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Oh, is it gonna be the moment where he grabs her hand and they hold each other's hand as they're walking through the low tide of the ocean and everything?" Which would be, hey, we're improving, we're getting closer to this relationship and how they're getting closer to each other. But this man, I've done it before when I've been at the beach sometimes, stepped on a shell and basically falls over because it hurts. So, you know, if you go to the ocean, you know, listen, I don't like going, that's why I don't like going barefoot when you start to get a little bit closer into the ocean, right? Because you have a higher percentage chance of seashells, stepping on them and hurting your feet and everything. That's why you need to wear. It's where like you wear like freaking swim shoes or something like that, right? Or water shoes, right? So he falls over, he's wet. Luckily, he had his gym clothes, so he changed into that for a bit. And basically, what happens is he pulls out this nice little small mini birthday cake that says happy birthday for Chinatsu because he's like, it's your birthday, right? He even has the candles for her age and everything. They talk about the age, so she's 2 years obviously older than him. And it's very interesting because, she makes the mention about being 2 years older than him because he's 15. And Taigi's like, man, who the hell cares? Age is nothing but a number, right? And he's like, look, we're still kids, so let's enjoy this. Now, when he said that line, I'm like, is that a sign of saying, like, I don't care if I'm 2 years younger than you? Like, they give a lot of freaking hints as to, like, especially both of them are like, no, I don't care how old you are. Like, that's the thing, right? So he sings the happy birthday song to her. It's a nice moment. Obviously, it's like the what my thumbnail is of her just being very happy, and you can tell like what Taiki did was clearly good for her. He thanks him for or she thanks him for bringing her to the beach, and then he also makes a mention about the ankle bracelet and everything. He's like, oh yeah, about the ankle bracelet, don't worry, we'll match soon enough. And she's like, wait, what? And he's like, mine will break eventually, so eventually we'll be in the same boat again and we'll be twinning. So at first, I thought he was legitimately going to say, like, don't worry, we'll be matching again because I'll get another one. I'll get, us, same sets again, which I think regardless is going to happen. I think a nice romantic way is especially, when he confesses, is the whole thing of he's going to have another ankle bracelet that he's going to give to her and he's like, I want to make this promise that we're going to be together and we're always going to be together, right? And I really like you, Chinatsu senpai, right? Which I think would be very adorable, very sweet of him to do. I think at some point he's going to buy her another ankle bracelet and they're going to get another matching set to make up for the one that obviously broke, right? And it would be kind of a thing of like, she gave me hers, I'm going to be the one to give her one, and I'll have my own matching and we can both match, right? So there's that and everything, right? But hold on a quick second, guys. Hold on a quick second. All right, sorry for that. But yeah, anyways, you get that whole nice moment. So yeah, anyways, the rain came because I forgot to mention those other old dudes. They mentioned about like there would be rainfall coming. So what happens is the rain comes, but they have to go. The train is down, right? So they have to stay in a nice little hotel. So they stay in the hotel. Um, they're getting ready to play some games. Chinatsu's friend calls her, talking about how jealous she was about not wearing the yukatas at the fireworks festival and everything. So there's that. And so yeah. Anyways, what then happens is she brings up the whole thing about the bed incident where she fell off the bed, right? Or fell on top of Taiki with the bed. So what ends up so she basically like, look, I wanted to apologize for that. I don't want you to forget about that moment if you don't want to. It was very rude and insensitive of me to say that, and it bothered. I could tell it bothered you and everything. And Taiki ends up saying like, look, like it's no big deal. It's all right. It's fine. And he ends up also apologizing, and he basically said like, hey, I apologize for I apologize for not telling you what happened with the fireworks festival. And he tells her like, look, I know I said I would be going in a group of my friends, but I only went with Hina because, well, realistically, we asked Kyo to come and he ended up getting sick and everything, and it was just me and Hina. So that's why I was alone with her at the fireworks festival. And I thought it was nice that he said it. And Shien's like, you don't need to tell me all that. You don't need to apologize for that. And he's like, I just felt like I needed to do it. So, that ends up happening, right? And it's good that it happens because it kind of starts their slate back to where they were initially, where okay, cool. And I think this also gives the idea to Chinatsu, like, I do have a chance with this guy. So this must tell me, even though, you know, he must have been confessed to by Hina, it's clear that no, it seems like he may not like Hina like I thought he does. But it's nice. They play some board games. It was a nice moment, but it puts them back at square one now that they got everything they needed to get off the plate. The only other thing they need to get off the plate is a relationship for each other, right? Or their feelings for each other. So yeah, but basically the episode ends off to where she ended up sleeping on the little mini bed, right? But he's like, wait, at first I thought, I'm like, oh, he's gonna be like right next to her and she's gonna be looking at him sleeping. No, well, she does look at him sleep, but he's sleeping on the freaking chair. When they were near the table, they were playing playing the games, the card games and the board games, right? Which one? That's very uncomfortable. I could never sleep on a freaking chair. Like, only time you'll catch me sleeping on the chair is a freaking I'm like off the chair is on a plane or something like that, or in the car if I'm not driving, right? But other than that, like, you know, I won't be in a hotel room sleeping on the chair. Like, I want to sleep lay down. But yeah, but anyways, that's basically it of the episode. Don't know where the next episode's going to go, but this was a really good episode, especially progressing the Taiki and Shinatsu relationship. Now that it looks like they're back on square one with each other, they're on good terms with each other. They've got off the stuff they felt like they needed to get off on the chest. I also do appreciate, you know, Shinatsu even saying like, look, I'm sorry for telling you like to forget about the moment we had when I accidentally fell on top of you, because let's be honest, like, it was kind of like, how are you gonna tell a guy to forget about that moment? Like, that's just a moment that happened, albeit you can put it at the back of your head, but, you know, I don't think, you know, you would have to think like he's not thinking about anything, like he's trying to make a move on you or something. It just happened by accident. And I like how she's like, look, it was rude and insensitive of me to not consider how you felt, and everything. So it's nice, and it's starting to see her do her task of opening her feelings up a little bit more and not hiding and keeping those feelings bottled up, which has been a problem people said about Chinatsu, like Haruyu senpai's girlfriend, saying like, you know, she keeps things bottled up and everything, and she's not really a good person to just express things. But, you know, the more she's doing this, it's telling me she's feeling more comfortable around being around Taiki. And it also has to play with the fact that she does like Taiki. Like, you know, she didn't like it at the end of last week's episode where she saw Taiki and Hina together, and she overheard that Hina clearly confessed her feelings to him and everything. But now, you know, now that she knows, and maybe also too, it's because Taiki told her first about the whole fireworks festival, so maybe that's why she took the initiative. She's like, I still have a chance. I'm gonna actually be sincere and tell him, like, not to forget about that. So there's a really good episode of Blue Box. Apologies for the late episode review of that. Had a lot of shit going on this weekend, and everything. So yeah, but till then, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day or your night when you're watching this video. Until then, guys, stay safe. Peace.